Hi everyone, I'm Bonita and I have arachnoiditis. If you currently have it or if you've just been diagnosed, this is just kind of an informational video to see about the symptoms, the causes, and what's going on in our body. I am not a medical person to be able to give this advice, but I do have the condition. I've had it almost 2 years. July will be 2 years. And so I thought I would go over some of this with you if you're just experiencing this, or if you want to have someone that you can communicate with that understands what you're going through. So I'm taking this off of healthline.com. Arachnoiditis is a painful condition in the spine that involves inflammation of the arachnoid, which is the middle of three membranes that surround and protect the brain and the nerves of the spinal cord. Inflammation in the arachnoid can start after surgery, spinal cord infection, spinal cord injury, irritation from chemicals injected into the spine. And this is what happened to me. Mine happened during an epidural of which my dura mater was punctured. I had to have a blood patch. 2 weeks later, I had to go back to the emergency room because the blood patch did not take, and I had horrible symptoms from that. I was so dizzy, confused, unable to balance. It was absolutely horrible. That is what happened to me. Some people have it happen in other ways, but that is my story. And then once that happens, the inflammation damages the spinal nerves and it causes them to clump together. And then that causes a slow of the cerebral spinal fluid, and that's where our symptoms come from. Many of the symptoms that you can experience are numbing, tingling, or pins and needles feelings in your body. I have an electrical sensation that is just always like pulsating in my body that is extremely annoying. I also have the numbness that goes on. It also says that you can have feelings of crawling sensation on the skin, muscle cramps or spasms, which I do experience that as well. And luckily, I have an arthritis doctor that was kind enough to give me a muscle relaxer. That has been the only thing that has been my saving grace. Those muscle cramps and spasms have been so severe in the past that I've had them last 20, 30 minutes, can't get them to go away. I'm just sobbing. I've even had one that lasted 3 days when this first happened to me. Weakness, which I experienced that as well. Severe headaches, which I've started experiencing that over the last couple of months. Sometimes I go to bed with a headache, sometimes I wake up with a headache, sometimes I have a headache the entire day. Vision problems. I absolutely have a huge problem with vision problems. I have been wearing glasses that are probably 8 years old part of the time. I go back to the ones that are 6 years old. I go back to the ones that are a year old. I just fluctuate trying to see if I can see anything. Things are blurry. Sometimes I can see at the beginning of the day. By the middle of the day, I can't. By the end of the day, I can't. It's very, very frustrating. And one of the most frustrating things is I went to the neurologist, 2 different neurologists, and told them I had vision problems from this. And they said, well, that wouldn't cause it. Well, it absolutely does cause it. You can find it anywhere on the internet. Google it. Vision problems are huge because it is cutting off some of that flow to your brain that controls your vision. Also, hearing problems. I have a left ear that I have trouble, that I feel like it's blocked. I have had tests done. They'd say I have a little bit of hearing issue, but not that much. They called it moderate. But there's no reason for this ear to feel blocked all the time. It feels like it's being plugged up. It feels like it maybe has fluid on the ear, but there's no fluid on the ear. And when I got COVID over Christmas, it was 3 times worse. So painful. I'm scared to even get on an airplane because it feels so plugged that I'm worried that the altitude will affect it. Dizziness, nausea, bowel or bladder problems, which in my experience, I have found that some of the medicines that they put us on to try to help with the nerve pain actually cause the bowel and bladder problems. Trouble sleeping, absolutely. Every little bit, waking up in pain somewhere, trying to change positions. Fatigue, because we are having trouble sleeping and because we're in so much pain, we are so tired. I just feel like I operate in a constant state of being exhausted. Joint pain, I had some of this before because I do have arthritis, but they say that it can be one of the symptoms as well. Loss of balance, yes, I have trouble with my balance. Sexual dysfunction, depression, which all of these symptoms of course can cause you to have some depression. Ringing in the ears, I absolutely have that. I hear a hum a lot of the times. I hear my heartbeat in my ear. That is very annoying as well. And inability to sweat normally, which I always had that problem. I think it's because I have a low thyroid, so I wouldn't say that I'm experiencing that anymore. And in severe cases, your legs can become paralyzed. There are times that I feel like maybe one leg or the other leg doesn't want to move. And I just feel so fatigued and I almost feel like my brain isn't telling my legs to move. It hasn't happened where it's just stopped making them move, but there are definitely days that I feel so sluggish on my lower part that it is hard for me to walk. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to experience all of these. As you can see, I experience some of those, not all of them. And a lot of people experience things for a while and then they go away and then they experience different ones. The nerves are just firing and it's not always going to be the same condition, the same symptoms. You're not always going to feel the same way. Some days are definitely bad days. Other days, I'll have a really good day just thrown in there in the mix, and I take it. I take those good days. But it is very difficult to not know what kind of day you're going to have, to not know how to plan things because you don't know how you're going to feel. It's hard to commit to things, not knowing how you're going to feel. My daughter did invite me to go to Botanica to the tulip show last weekend. The day before, I had 2 hours of extreme burning in my lower back. I would have sworn I was going into back labor if I'd been pregnant because it felt like that for 2 straight hours. And I thought, how in the world am I going to go to Botanica tomorrow? I don't want to miss this. I don't want to give up things in my life that are important to me, things that add quality to my life. I don't want to give up, period. And I'm not going to give up. Within 2 hours, it did subside. The next day, even though I felt pretty well, I knew once I walked quite a bit, I was going to start having problems and then I would hurt all the next day. So I took my cane, even though I didn't feel like I needed it. And maybe some of you are reluctant to use your cane as well. But I can tell you that if you take your cane on some of those long walks, you're walking off kilter because of some of these nerve pains and numbness and things going on. And if you can take that cane and use that, it will make such a huge difference. When I use my cane, my pain automatically drops at least 50%. And I would have never believed that, but it does. I am a licensed nursing home administrator, so I do know a few of these things before this happened to me. And knowing how to use a cane is so important because it really does make a difference. I always carry one in my car. I don't use one very often just because I don't want to use it. I'm sure you feel the same way. But I used it at Botanica, and at the end of walking through Botanica, being able to park my car in the handicap section, which thank God I have a handicap tag, and coming back to my car, I didn't have any pain. I was able to walk the whole thing, not have pain that evening, not have pain the next day. And I can guarantee you if I had not taken my cane, I would have paid dearly for that. So it does make a huge difference. So I encourage you to maybe carry a cane, keep a cane in your car for things like that because it does really improve your quality of life and your pain afterwards. So this is some of the things that I wanted to share with you today. Feel free to share in the comments anything that you're experiencing, any other symptoms that you're having. maybe what you're doing to try to alleviate some of the painful conditions and live a quality life, like I just shared with you with using the cane, walking through Botanica. And let's continue to support each other on this channel. I would really appreciate your thumbs up and your subscription to the channel if this is helpful to you today. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.